from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
2 people are in critical condition following a stabbing on San Antonio's far west side overnight. Details coming up.
And the U.S. astronaut and 2 Russian cosmonauts returning to Earth together despite heightened tensions over the war in Ukraine.
And Mike is tracking a line of showers getting ready to move into the San Antonio area. Will it actually make it? We'll talk to him coming up. Good morning, everybody. We've made it to midweek. It's Wednesday, the 30th.
Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good week so far. We need that rain.
We really do. Mike, do we need the umbrella this morning?
Yeah, well, most of it I think is probably going to be moving out of the area by the time you hit the road. You know, with the majority of folks in the morning commute, I think a lot of that's going to be gone. But yeah, grab one if you're leaving early this morning. We'll take anything we can get as far as rain, but don't get really excited for a whole bunch with this. This is a very, very narrow line, and as you can see, most of it is just on the kind of the light side. It's moving down to the southeast at about 25 miles per hour. It's just now starting to work its way in toward Bernie. So if you're going out I-10, you're going to run into a few of those showers, and then back down to the southwest, moving through Sabinal, Hondo. You're going to be getting a little bit of this rain. And again, we'll take anything, but it's going to amount to maybe 1/10 of an inch at best. It'll move through. I think most of the impact from it here in town is just going to be to make the roads kind of wet and slippery, and that'll be about it. It is very, very warm out there, 72 degrees, but notice how now temperatures have dropped off. 61 in Kerrville, 61 also at Los Maples, and drier air is starting to work its way on in here. So we got a lot of humidity when you step outside, but it's going to turn very dry. Comfortable, yes, but with the dry air, warm temperatures, and then wind, look at that, 15, 20, close to 25 mile per hour winds. We've seen some wind gusts out there, well out to the west of about 30 miles per hour already this morning. So add all that together, and once again, we do have a red flag warning for the entire area. Relative humidities are going to be less than 20%, and winds are going to be gusting. Sustained winds about 20, 25 miles per hour, gusting 30, 35, close to 40 miles per hour, even stronger than that. So once again, a very, very high fire danger. As far as the allergens, oak, yes, it did drop down yesterday, but still on the high side. Mold, moderate, little bits of everything else. And this morning, some showers, roads are going to be damp as you head on out, but most of that rain's going to move on through here pretty quickly. We will drop down into the mid 60s and then warm up quite nicely up to 85 degrees. It is going to be windy today, very dry air, and then cool. You don't need a jacket this morning. You'll need a jacket the next couple of mornings. We'll talk about that, take a look ahead to the weekend and the start of Fiesta coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stuff, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. New this morning, Bexar County deputies are investigating a stabbing involving 3 people. It happened around 10 last night in the 9,000 block of Misty Plain Drive. That's on the city's far west side. Deputies say they arrived to find that an 18-year-old man had stabbed his younger brother and father. The 2 victims were taken to the hospital in critical condition. BCSO says the 18-year-old had turned the knife on himself, but his injuries are not life-threatening. The suspect was detained and taken to the hospital.
In your morning headlines, get ready to spend even more for food. The USDA just released its food price outlook for 2022, and they predict the cost of groceries will continue to skyrocket. They say overall you could be spending up to 4% more for food by the end of this year. Dairy prices expect to increase between 4 and 5%. Poultry could cost 6 to 7% more, and prices for things like cereal, baked goods, and sweets could go up 3 to 4%. The USDA also predicts restaurant prices will increase anywhere from 5 to 6% this year.
And Americans age 50 and older can now get a second COVID-19 booster. It's been at least 4 months since their last vaccination. Food and Drug Administration has authorized the extra dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine for that age group and for certain younger people with severely weakened immune systems. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention later recommended the extra shot as an option, but stopped short of urging that those eligible to rush out and get it right away. Meanwhile, COVID-19 cases have dropped to low levels after the winter surge of the super contagious Omicron variant.
A new lawsuit is asking a federal court to permanently end the federal transportation mask mandate. Florida is leading the charge, but 20 other states, as well as a group of pilots and flight attendants, are also behind the suit. The states claim the policy is an abuse of federal emergency powers. The mask mandate is currently slated to end April 18th, though it could be extended again. The suit is separate from another filed earlier this month to block the mandate Major airline CEOs and Southwest Airlines Flight Attendants Union has also urged the Biden administration to end the mask mandate. Meanwhile, history was made in space overnight.
Despite what's unfolding here on Earth between the U.S. and Russia, astronauts from both countries came together as colleagues. ABC's Andrea Fujii has a story.
Undocking confirmed.
This morning, a long-awaited homecoming for NASA astronaut Mark Vandehei, returning from a record 355 days in space.
It's sometimes challenging being up here, but I have just been having a blast.
He, along with 2 Russian cosmonauts, left the International Space Station, boarding Russia's Soyuz spaceship to land in Kazakhstan this morning. They returned to a very different landscape than when Vandehei left Earth nearly 1 year ago. Tensions between the U.S. and Russia have escalated to new heights as the war in Ukraine rages. But Tuesday, during the traditional change of command ceremony, the Russian commander on the space station took a moment to reflect on those tensions.
People have problem on Earth, on orbit. We are we are one crew.
And then this shared hug between the Russian and the American, as the commander handed over the symbolic space station key to the new commander, Thomas Marshburn. Weeks ago, when the U.S. began sanctioning Russia, tensions did reach space. The head of the Russian space agency threatened to abandon Vandehei, posting a video showing the cosmonauts waving goodbye to him. Retired astronaut Scott Kelly fired back, engaging in a social media war of words.
I never thought I would ever hear anything so outrageous.
But reflecting on her time in orbit, former astronaut Katie Coleman says up in space, where you're from doesn't matter.
The fact that you're from one little place on that planet is a really nice, it's a great sense of community.
After landing this morning, Vandehei travels back to NASA headquarters in Houston. As for future Russian-American space flights, a top Russian official is expected to discuss the issue tomorrow. Andrea Fujii, ABC News.
437, about 71 degrees.
And coming up next, the San Antonio Spurs get a huge boost ahead of tonight's game with the Grizzlies. All thanks to the Dallas Mavericks last night. We're going to explain coming up.
Let's check on traffic. Right now, it's still pretty darn early out there. Roads are very light traffic-wise all over town. 281 at Bassey, looking good both in and out of downtown. There's Highway 90 at 36th Street, also going in and out of the downtown area on the far west side. 1604 way out there at Kitty Hawk on the far northeast side.
Not too many people there right now. Taking a look outside with live cams starting at 71 degrees and expecting some rain out there. We'll be checking in with Mike pretty soon.
Welcome back. For the first time since March of 2007, our San Antonio Spurs have gone undefeated on a road trip of 4 games or more. Let that soak in for a second. It's after the Spurs were able to beat the Warriors, the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, and the Rockets. More importantly, the team now owns that 10th and final play-in position in the Western Conference. By comparison, 2007 was the year the Spurs won their 4th NBA title with the Big Three, Tim, Tony, and Manu, and that also included Big Shot Rob. Spurs got a huge assist last night from the Mavericks in Dallas. They throttled the LA Lakers 128-110, dropping the purple and gold to 11th in the Western Conference. They're now tied with the Spurs for the overall record, and the Spurs own the tiebreaker. Luka Doncic led the way with 34 points, part of his 10th triple-double of the season. Spurs were playing without LeBron, who was dealing with chronic ankle issues. By the way, Anthony Davis did not suit up, even though he participated in his first practice Monday, out since February 16th after spraining his foot. All right, up next, Spurs face the Memphis Grizzlies here at home. Tip-off set for 7:30 tonight at the AT&T Center. The field for the 100th anniversary of the Valero Texas Open has arrived in the Alamo City. First round set for tomorrow at JW Marriott's TPC Resort Course just north of town. Defending champ Jordan Spieth will try to become the first champion to defend his title since Zach Johnson did it back in 08 and 09. Keep in mind, Spieth has done it before when the tournament was played at La Cantera. The former Texas Longhorn won the Texas Open back in back-to-back tournaments in 2000 and 2001. The first since Arnold Palmer pulled off 3 consecutive wins in 1960, 61, and 62 at Fort Sam Houston and then Oak Hills Country Club.
it's got tremendous history, and for a tournament to be around that long on the PGA Tour, there's only a very small handful of events like that. So I'm happy to be here this year. It was never in question, and I look forward to trying to repeat.
Welcome to town, guys. Play begins tomorrow right here in San Antonio with the first round. All this runs through Sunday, and KSAT begins our live coverage tomorrow. And that's a look at morning sports.
Excited about the Spurs.
Me
go
too.
Spurs, go. Time now, 4:42 and 71 degrees for now. Coming up next, some scary moments as a base jumper is left hanging on the edge of a cliff after his parachute ripped in midair during a stunt. And welcome back. It's 4:45. A base jumper is lucky to be alive after his parachute ripped in midair during a stunt, leaving him clinging to the edge of a cliff for an hour. ABC's Matt Gutman has the details in today's GMA First Look.
3, 2, 1, see ya.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a base jumper's brush with death. You're watching video from daredevil Johnny DeJulius, whose base jump off these cliffs in Arizona goes horribly wrong. He slams into the cliff face once, his parachute gets torn, and then he begins sailing at 50 miles per hour into a second cliff.
Johnny. Dude.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm just hung up.
You hung up?
Yeah, I can climb down, but...
He's hung up!
So, how did he survive?
And I can climb down, but I'm gonna have to ungear. It's gonna be sketchy. I don't need a rescue, but definitely moral support.
Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll hear from Johnny DeJulius in his own words about this harrowing experience. With your GMA First Look, I'm Matt Gutman, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, we are seeing a few flashing lights out there, but these are in the normal construction spots, and if they pop up, I'll tell you which ones here. But I don't see any accidents on any of the freeways around San Antonio right now. Things looking great on all these other shots as well. The one I'm thinking of is like 1604 Northwest Military, 1604 over towards Houseman, the normal spots.
Normal stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, we're hoping for some normal rain, but you said not to get too excited.
No, this is just going to be enough, I think, to make the roads kind of just wet and slippery. Yes, they will dry out fairly quickly once this moves on through here, just because we got the windy conditions and dry air. But then, you know what that means? We got a high fire danger again today. So this is what it looks like as of right now. And you can see just a very, very narrow line of storms that are working their way down to the southeast at a fairly decent clip, moving along about 20-25 miles per hour. And so what this means is that these are going to be working their way on through town in just probably about moving on through here within at least the next couple of hours, if not sooner than that. So let's track this and see what's going on here. So right along this line right here, which extends all the way from the hill country, and it's moving to the southeast at about, we'll call it, say, 30 miles per hour right there. So as far as when it's going to be moving through your neighborhood, we're looking at, say, Cross Canyon Ranch right about 5 o'clock this morning, Gray Forest about 5:07, Smithson Valley just about 5:15. So again, it is moving fairly quickly, and then it will be moving on through the area by at least 7 o'clock. I think that's going to be out of here by then. It's not going to be a whole lot of rain. As a matter of fact, as you can see, we have a couple of spots up there around Bernie where there may be, say, a slightly heavier downpour or two, if you want to call it that, a moderate shower, and then even down in toward Lake Hills. We'll take anything we can get. This is going to help out, but it's not going to be any sort of a drought buster. And again, it's probably going to be just the type of rain that is just going to be enough to make things really slippery on the roads because of all the dust and oil. It's not going to be enough to wash that off. Obviously, there's nothing out there as of right now, but we'll keep watching that picture for this rain to come. And here's the computer model. This is the rapid update model. This has it, again, moving on through San Antonio in the next at least half hour to hour, and then getting on out of here really, really quickly. So by 7:30, we're going to start to see this rain clearing on out, or the sky's clearing on out. Rain's going to be working its way off to the east, and we've got nothing but clear skies then setting up in behind it. Also, as far as the humidity, like I said, it's going to dry out. Once it does rain, it's going to dry out fairly quickly because of the windy and dry conditions, and these dew point temperatures drop down considerably throughout the day. blustery winds coming in behind that, and so that means we have that very high fire danger. So a couple of showers around this morning. Temperatures are in the 70s right now. They will be dropping down into the mid and some lower 60s. Then we're going to start to warm up very nicely, and those winds obviously pick up throughout the rest of the morning, and then going into the afternoon hours, we are going to make it up into the low to mid 80s, probably some upper 80s along the Rio Grande Valley. Higher temperatures out to the west. Obviously, it clears out sooner, and what that then means is we do have the red flag warnings that go into effect at 10 o'clock this morning up until 8 o'clock this evening. Less than 20% humidity and winds coming in here out of the west to northwest, sustained 20-25 miles per hour. We're going to see some really good wind gusts throughout the day as well. It is going to be breezy again tomorrow. Weather Service has already indicated it may be posting red flag warnings for parts of the area for tomorrow, but definitely for everybody within earshot today. 77 degrees today at noon, sunny and windy. Then a high temperature is going to make it up to 85 degrees later on today. And as far as the next couple of days, it looks fantastic as far as the start of Fiesta tomorrow. Obviously, the lack of rain notwithstanding and the high fire danger. Chilly the next couple of mornings. We're going to be down in the upper 40s here in town, so low 40s in parts of the hill country. Great looking tomorrow, Friday. Saturday, Sunday, a little more humidity comes back in here, and maybe very small chance for a couple of showers or a thunderstorm on Monday.
Okay,
would be nice.
Keep an eye on those showers this morning.
Yeah, again, one or two of them. It's going to be enough to make the roads kind of slippery.
Which could be a problem in itself.
In and out pretty quick.
All right, thank you, Mike. 451, about 71 degrees.
And coming up next, the sequel, Mark, to Top Gun is finally getting a theater release date after being delayed several times during the pandemic.
I have never griped about that in my life. The fact that it's been delayed 26 times.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Pick three numbers, 101, Fireball 6. The trailer does look cool, and this is the first full. The other ones were teaser trailers. Daily 4, number 2634, Fireball 3.
Cash 5, 9, 21, 24, 31, 33. And your Mega Millions, 7, 22, 36, 45, 47. Mega Ball 12, Mega Plier 2. Good luck.
Welcome back. There is a new Muppet on Sesame Street, and the long-awaited Top Gun sequel could finally be arriving in theaters.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Alex Stone.
Meet Amira, new Muppet ready to join the cast of Sesame Street. The fuzzy green character with a passion for science and basketball uses a wheelchair and crutches to get around due to a spinal cord injury. She'll take over screens on the Arabic version of the hit show.
Good morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking.
The Need for Speed is back. Paramount Pictures has released its final trailer for the sequel to the 1980s blockbuster Top Gun. Tom Cruise reprises his role as Pete Mitchell in Top Gun Maverick, except now he's a captain training a new group of graduates. The film, set for release May 27th, was delayed numerous times due to the pandemic.
This year we'll see my grand finale in North America.
Elton John has announced his final North American dates for his farewell Yellow Brick Road tour. Performances include stops in East Rutherford, Foxborough, Massachusetts, and Canada before closing it out at Dodger Stadium in L.A., the site of what many consider to be his most iconic performance. And happy birthday to Eric Clapton, the rock and roller regarded as one of the greatest guitarists of all times, is turning 77. Singer Celine Dion is 54. That's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Alex Stone, ABC News.
I think there are still a few tickets left for Elton John's show here in San Antonio coming up October 29th as the Alamo City says farewell.
That's right. I know a lot of people, well, not a lot, but a few people who bought those tickets quite a while back.
Absolutely.
Wow.
456, about 71 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, new explosions overnight in parts of Ukraine, how President Biden's reacting to new Russian military movement.
And we'll tell you about a company unveiling a new hamburger vending machine. That's coming up in your morning Tech Bites.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide there. Looking right now at I-37 in Houston, looks pretty quiet there. and I-37 at Fair Avenue. Stephen Cavazos just walked in. We'll be checking in with him soon.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning, I'm Jonathan Cotto. San Antonio police are investigating a shooting happening inside a room inside this hotel room. What we know coming up on GMSA.
I'm ABC's M. Wynn in Washington. Explosions are heard overnight around Ukraine's capital of Kyiv, despite Russia promising to cut back on those attacks. The latest on the negotiations between the two countries coming up.
Outside with live cam, about 70 degrees, and some of you are waking up to some raindrops this morning. We'll talk to Mike in a moment. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, March 30th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Yes, we definitely need the rain, but I don't think we're going to get too much of it today.
Let's see where those showers are right now. Mike Osterhage, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, they're moving on in here fairly quickly, and I hate to, look some rain, look gift horse in the mouth, if you say, but this is not a bunch of rain at all. It's just going to be kind of a nuisance at best. It is a very narrow line. Again, it's moving along really, really quickly in through the hill country, and there's not, again, much of this is just on the very light side, maybe a couple of slightly more than light showers that are moving on in, but it's already come into western Bexar County and just about to, work its way on into Bulverde, just crossing 281 right there, right past Candelia, heading in toward Canyon Lake. And then on the northwest side of town, Leon Springs, Helotes, you're seeing a couple of these showers right now and more further down to the southwest. But again, this is not a big line. This is not a lot of rain. Unfortunately, we'll take anything we can get, a little free lawn watering, and that's about it. And these showers are just about to kind of exit, moving on through Dehennis as well as Hondo, and it will continue to move on out of here. So by the heart of the morning commute, when most folks are hitting the roads, rain's already going to be through here. We'll have some damp roads, but they are going to be drying up fairly quickly because of the really dry air and the windy conditions that are going to be coming in behind this front moving through. 72 degrees here in town right now, and then 60 Kerrville, 61 Los Maples, and this somewhat cooler air is going to be sliding on in here as the day rolls on, and as the morning rolls on, I should say, and much drier air as well. It's really going to be drying out, and then the windy conditions. Winds are already out of the north at Hondo, 12 miles per hour. 20 over there in Spotsford, and then we have some gusts already this morning. Been seeing some of those up close to 30 miles per hour. We're going to see some gusts 30, 35, 40, even higher than that at times, with sustained winds about 20 to 25, and relative humidity is going to be dropping down. So the red flag warning goes into effect for the entire area 10 o'clock this morning up until 8 o'clock tonight. Oak is on the high side, mold moderate, and we're definitely getting into the throes of the oak season around here. So a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm well up to the north. Haven't even seen any around here, and those will continue to move on out of here fairly quickly. Sunny, warm, dry, windy, and of course that equates to a red flag warning. And then chilly start the next couple of mornings. You'll need a jacket tomorrow morning as well as Friday morning. Sunny, breezy tomorrow, probably red flag warning in parts of the area tomorrow, and then the weekend looks nice. We're going to have a few more clouds around here, a bit more humidity, but for the start of Fiesta tomorrow, looks fantastic. More on the first weekend of April already. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos, good morning, sir. Anything going on?
Well, we do have one issue, Mike. Right now, we're going to take a quick look around town, see how that morning is shaping up. 1604 at Northwest Military. We did see some flashing lights out there a little while ago. Looks pretty quiet right now. I-10 at 35. Traffic moving there without any trouble. And 35 at Ben Zingelman, looks like you'll have the roads to yourself. But as I mentioned, some flashing lights out towards 1604 Northwest Military. And that's because a crash was picked up there a little bit earlier this morning. If I can get my clicker to work here, there we go. 1604 westbound at Northwest Military. You see a slight buildup in that direction that still remains. Again, a crash was picked up there, but it looks like first responders may have already cleared that out. So that's some good news as we start to see more people get out on the roads and get their morning started early. 503, we're not really seeing any problems around the viewing area. However, there are some construction crews that are out and about working to improve the roadways, so you got to watch out for them. But right now, if you are traveling into San Antonio, the good news is it's green across the board here. I-10 eastbound, Boerne to downtown, 25 minutes to San Antonio, 27 minutes if you're traveling 281 southbound from Bulverde, and 26 on 35 traveling southbound from New Braunfels. Not looking bad there, but we'll keep a close eye on the roadways and have more updates throughout the morning. And don't forget, there are some construction crews to be on the lookout for. We'll tell you where coming up a little later on. Guys.
Thank you, Steve. And new this morning, San Antonio police investigating a shooting inside a hotel room on the city's northwest side.
Our Jonathan Cotto joins us live now. And Jonathan, do you know if anyone was hurt?
Good morning, Stephanie. And unfortunately, yes, we're learning one person has been taken to the hospital after another person in a room inside this hotel room accidentally fired off a gun. We do know San Antonio police were called out to this Clarion Point Hotel located off the 4800 block of Manitou Drive on the city's northwest side just before 2 o'clock this morning. Police tell us 2 males and 2 females in their teens and 20s were staying in a room on the 4th floor when a gun accidentally went off, grazing a 14-year-old girl on the neck. Right now, police are trying to figure out who the gun belonged to and if there will be any charges. It's still unclear at the moment if the 14-year-old girl's injuries are life-threatening. We do know she was taken to University Hospital. The other people in the room have been taken in for questioning. Reporting live from the city's northwest side, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. This morning, people living in the High Mountain Ranch subdivision are finally home after evacuating from the Doscote fire. The drive into the neighborhood comes with a sudden change: greenery morphing into gray ash, acre after acre reduced to a wasteland. The Doscote fire burning so intensely, only rock remains in some areas. Houses, brush trailers, and cars covered in pink. That's from retardant drops from the sky, an effort to help ground crews save their homes.
Everyone was here for the same mission. They came from all over the state. Nobody cared who was in this house. They wanted to make sure that this house was saved and the community, had a house to come back to.
I'm glad the house is up. I'm glad that we got the power back on, the AC work, got the water pump going, got the pressure on good.
And while the worst of the fire is behind the Medina County community, fire officials are asking people to stay cautious.
This morning, Russia continues its bombardment of Ukrainian cities despite pledges to scale back offensive operations.
President Biden is casting doubt on those Russian promises. ABC's M. Nguyen has more from Washington.
Russia now saying it will drastically reduce combat operations around Kyiv and Chernihiv following a high-stakes negotiation between the two countries. But overnight, more explosions in the suburbs outside the capital. President Zelensky warning Ukrainians to stay alert. You can only trust concrete results, he says. In Washington, President Biden also expressing skepticism over Russia's promise.
We'll see. I don't read anything into it until I see what their actions are. We'll see if they follow through on what they're suggesting.
The Pentagon confirming some Russian troops are pulling away from Kyiv.
Our assessment is that their intention is to reposition forces and bolster their efforts elsewhere.
Russia may be moving troops to escalate war in other parts of the country, like the eastern Donbas region. In war-torn Mariupol, new images from private satellite company Maxar show the devastating aftermath following weeks of Russian shelling. Residential areas destroyed, about 100,000 civilians still trapped. Long lines form outside grocery stores, people desperate for supplies.
There is no gas, no electricity, no heating, no cell phone service. We melt snow to have at least something to drink.
Amid negotiations, Ukraine is calling for legally binding security guarantees, like a treaty, that if the country is attacked in the future, guarantor countries, including the U.S., would be obligated to provide weapons and a no-fly zone. They're also offering to become a non-nuclear neutral state once Russian troops leave territories from before the invasion.
Peace talks are expected to resume, though one Russian negotiator acknowledged there's still a long way to go before reaching any deal with Ukraine. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
And time now is 5:08 and 71 degrees for now.
Still ahead, while many of you get ready to file your taxes, we'll tell you why TurboTax is being accused of misleading its customers.
Also next, why your favorite eats and treats from this year's Fiesta going to cost you just a little bit more.
Outside with live cam, yes, a shower or two here or there. Mike is tracking a broken line that's moving through our viewing area this morning. We'll talk to him coming up. 5:12, good morning and welcome back to GMSA. Can you believe Fiesta starts tomorrow here in the Alamo City?
And you can bet there will be lines to grab that chicken on a stick, oysters, and plenty of drinks.
Sarah Costa joins us now here in the studio to tell us about some of the changes to the food this year. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. I'm so excited for Fiesta, back in person finally.
And a part of it is the food, but of course we are experiencing inflation with everything, and now we're going to be feeling it with Fiesta. So some of your favorites are going to cost you a little more. So check this out. Pot stickers, crispy shrimp wraps, corn on the cob, corn in a cup, sopapillas, lemonade, and tea are all going up by $1. The price for chicken on a stick, it's staying the same at $8. Organizers at the King William Fair are facing rising costs as well. They say contractors have doubled their prices and trash cleanup has tripled. And to offset inflation cost, entry fees for the King William Fair will increase from $15 to $20 this year. Your entry fee at Oyster Bake, now that will stay the same, but expect all the food and drink prices to go up by $1. Organizers say that fixed costs have gone up over 20% this year.
We're just hoping we're going to have a lot more sales, a lot more customers down here, buying a lot more because I think everybody is ready to party.
If you're on a budget, you can head to KSAT.com to find a list of the free Fiesta events you can enjoy. Also consider using rideshare services to avoid parking fees near the event. Keep it right here on KSAT 12 for all your Fiesta coverage. Mark and Steph.
And Steph had the giggles because the video was so fun.
The dancing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sarah, you're not on camera. No fair.
Can you come over here and do that?
No, she's
Can I
good.
pass? Okay. Steph's giggle woke people up anyway. 5:13, about 71 degrees.
And still ahead, we're going to tell you more about Amazon's new kid-centric video call device.
And details on a company unveiling the first ever hamburger vending machine.
I'm the latest hashtag challenge, and everyone on social media is trying me. I'm trending so hard that hashtag common sense can't keep up. This is gonna get tens and tens of views. But if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, you could be left to pay for this yourself.
Get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem for a whole lot less.
Had enough? No, arthritis. Here, Aspirin arthritis. Huh. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods. Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspirin.
New Densify from Crest Pro Health.
You know, like bones, your teeth lose density over time.
Really?
Here, use this. Crest Densify rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth.
Good thing I married a dentist, huh?
Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America.
In today's Tech Bites, the Federal Trade Commission is suing Intuit, the company behind TurboTax. At issue is the company's claim to offer free tax preparation products. The FTC calls that claim misleading because most people are not able to use the free products being offered. Intuit says its products have helped taxpayers and have always complied with requirements. Amazon's new video call device for kids is now available in the U.S. The Amazon Glow has an 8-inch display and a projector that creates a 19-inch interactive space. Price tag $300. And for those clamoring for a hamburger vending machine, your day has arrived. RoboBurger is up and running at a New Jersey mall. It cooks a patty, adds toppings, and even toasts a bun, all in about 6 minutes. But if you really want better buns, try working out. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
No.
I'm not.
No.
I'm going to pretend that didn't happen.
Let's just go to Stephen.
Yeah, let's
How's
do
it
that.
going, Stephen?
Oh, I'm supposed to follow that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the question I have is, can they cook that burger meat medium? Because I do my burgers medium.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it tastes better.
I would think that would be the standard.
Yeah. Yes, I would think so too. It's like a steak, but I don't want to get into that hot topic right now.
Right.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the roads. Looks like we're seeing some of those damp roads out here out 1604 at Hosman over on the northwest side. Doesn't look like drivers are driving too fast out there, so just make sure to take it slow out on the roads. Mike will have more on the forecast in just a bit, but remember, again, just take it slow out there this morning. We're not seeing a lot of activity, which is some good news for anybody that plans to head out the door in the next few moments. But we do have some of that road work that we talked about earlier this morning. This we told you about yesterday, that is, that barrier setting that's taking place weeknights from 9 in the evening to 5 in the morning. Should be wrapping up tomorrow morning. It's a full closure of the westbound loop 1604 exit ramp to La Cantera Parkway. Doesn't look like we're seeing crews out there anymore, but again, something for drivers to plan ahead, especially as we wrap up tomorrow. Drilling work also taking place off 35 right here. It should be wrapping up right pretty soon, 519. Looks like that will be ending on Friday, though. That's April 1st. Keep in mind that's a single southbound main lane closure
closure from Pratt Road to Walsham Road. So it doesn't look like we're seeing any other problems here, but 1604 at Hausman, again, damp roads out there. Take it slow. We're going to have more on that a little bit later on. Guys.
Yeah, and this line of rain, as we were talking about, is not anything a whole lot. Obviously, it is making the roads wet, like Stephen was talking about, just enough with the dust and the oil to make things kind of slippery. And it's moving along at a fairly decent clip as well, because it was not even into Bexar County just about a half an hour ago, and continues to work its way down to the southeast. And as far as the movement of it, at about probably now about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So we'll get it up there around 37, and that's going to be working its way in through town over the course of pretty much the next 15 minutes or so, and it's going to be, again, moving along very quickly by the heart of the morning commute. Most all of this rain is going to be past the area, so we'll just have to deal with some of the wet roads. But right around the airport, about 527. So if you are heading up toward the airport or up 281, I should say, just kind of be on the lookout for some of these light showers around here. And as far as the intensity of the rain, it does look like in places that it is picking up somewhat. Over here on the kind of the west side of town, it's starting to pick up maybe a moderate shower, as you saw in that TransGuide camera, and then also further up to the north around Bulverde. Don't be surprised if there's even a couple of lightning strikes. We haven't seen anything as of yet, but as these start to right there, right north of Leon Springs, halfway between Leon Springs and Bulverde, again, a couple of lightning strikes, and even up there around Canyon Lake. Don't be surprised by that in the next couple of, about 15, 20 minutes, if there is anything as far as a lightning strike or two. That would, I think, be the exception rather than the rule. Here's 10 over there looking up in toward the medical center. We're not seeing any showers up there as of yet, but it is definitely coming. Wind, now, just looking at this graphic right now, it's not that impressive. Castroville, 13-mile-per-hour winds. However, we're already seeing wind gusts right in behind this front. 20 there in Castroville, Rio Medina at 22, Los Maples 14, and then winds are going to be gusting about, say, 35, 40 miles per hour, even stronger than that, and that dry air is going to be working its way on in here. So you know what that means with the very dry air and the windy conditions. We'll have a couple leftover showers this morning. Temperatures will drop down a few degrees as that front moves on through here, and then it's going to warm up quite nicely. Plenty of sunshine this morning then. A couple of leftover showers well off to the east. We make it up into the mid-70s by late morning, 77 at noon. And again, got to read those bottom numbers. Very windy conditions. So those are just the sustained winds. We top off at 85 later on today with plenty of sunshine around here. Yes, dry conditions, so it will be very comfortable. But again, we've got the red flag warning with the low humidities and windy conditions. This is from 10 o'clock in the morning up until 8 o'clock this evening. And as far as the next couple of days, yeah, it's going to be kind of chilly in the mornings, upper 40s, jacket. But then humidity makes a return here by the weekend. That's going to hold those low temperatures up in the low 60s. So the forecast today, we've got a couple of showers around this morning, a little extra time, but again, most of the rain's going to be out of here probably by 6 o'clock at least, and moving off to the east, and then 77 degrees at noon with lots of sunshine and breezy conditions. 85 for high temperature today. Next couple of days, tomorrow, start of Fiesta for Fiesta tomorrow evening. It's going to be quite nice. Matter of fact, we'll get up to 85, and if you are going to be at Fiesta throughout the evening hours, maybe even a light little sweater or something, because it'll cool down kind of quickly once the sun goes down with that dry air. And then we start off again at 48 tomorrow, 49 on Friday. And nice weekend, more humidity around here. And then Monday, a couple of showers. Even a thunderstorm is possible. Not a great chance as of right now.
Who would have thunk it that we'd see upper 40s during Fiesta here in San Antonio?
I know. Well, especially since it's so early this year. But yeah, it's a great start tomorrow. So and good looking weekend.
Sounds good. By the way, Steph's wearing Flamin' Hot Cheetos earrings today.
For Fiesta.
523, 70 degrees.
And the Foo Fighters cancel all upcoming shows. And your latest look at Top Gun Maverick, that's next in your morning spotlight.
We've had a technical issue with one of our stories, so we're going to move right along. We are approaching 527, about 70 degrees out at San Antonio International.
And still ahead on GMSA, a new USDA forecast says grocery prices will rise even more by the end of the year. We're going to tell you how much.
Plus, along with wildfires affecting parts of the state, Texas, along with several other states under the threat of severe weather today. We will have an update on that.
And Fiesta is almost here, and we want to get you in the spirit with the KSAT Fiesta Medal. So coming up on GMSA at 6, we're going to tell you when and where you can get your hands on one today.
We'll be right back. Making headlines this morning, grocery prices going up again. Why the USDA says you can expect to pay even more by the end of the year.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we are starting at 70 degrees. We'll get a little bit of rain, but maybe not enough.
Yes, we have showers in the area right now. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 30th.
Thanks for joining us today. Let's go ahead and check in with Mike to see just how long this rain's going to stick around.
Not that long. It's moving in and out fairly quickly. Not a lot, unfortunately, just enough to make the roads kind of slippery. And over there on the northwest side, you can see some drops on the lens. This is that camera over there at 410. We're looking up I-10 outbound. There's the hill country, and you can see the reflection off the headlights on the highway there. So we do have some showers on 10. Traffic's moving along fairly well in both directions, and more drops right there on the lens. This is a very narrow band of rain. We were talking about this, how it would not really amount to too awfully much at all. There may be a moderate shower mixed in here and there, some of those yellows and oranges. Haven't seen any lightning strikes with this at all. That's a possibility with some of these, perhaps up around Canyon Lake or even around Bulverde. And again, this is starting to intensify. I almost hate to use the word intensify with this. It is getting slightly, like I said, not just light rain, but on the moderate side, moving on in. And this line of rain right here is just about to cross into downtown, coming down I-10, and then more of it, and the tail end of it goes through Divine right along I-35 as of right now. But again, this is moving along very quickly, so it's going to be pretty much out of the metropolitan area within the next half hour, 45 minutes. 72 degrees right now. Comfort's down to 58, 60 Kerrville, Bandera, Lost Maples. So some of that cooler air is going to be sliding on in here and along this front, which is right along that line of rain. And also the wind is going to start to shift around. We've got some wind gusts, 20 at Castroville, 16 in Divine, 21 mile per hour wind gusts there at Bulverde. And it's going to be windy all day long, much drier air. And of course, once again, red flag warning for all of the area. Not only very, very low humidity, relative humidities, but winds are going to be gusting 30, 35, 40, even higher than that. Some wind gusts out to the west up to 45 miles per hour later on today. As far as allergens, oak is high, moderate mold, and little bits of everything else out there. And throughout the rest of today, 77 at noon, 85 for high temperature. Yep, windy. It will be comfortable with the dry air. Of course, that raises the fire danger. We're going to take a look at the start of Fiesta and the first weekend of April coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Mr. Cavazos, rain causing any problems yet?
I haven't seen that just yet, so good news out here on the northwest side, but that TransGuide camera is picking up a few of those droplets here, Mike, and we can see that the roads don't necessarily look too wet, but they are damp, so drivers make sure you are driving carefully in those areas that Mike mentioned as well. We aren't seeing any problems out there, but again, if drivers aren't driving carefully, then we can start to see some of those problems picking up there, so watch out. But let's go ahead and take you to the map because we do have a stall off I-35 southbound right here at O'Connor Road over near the northeast side. Not seeing that cause any problems, but check the vehicles before you head out the door this morning. And we got to take that drive down over here to I-10 because that bridge work that we talked about yesterday is still ongoing. Should be wrapping up around 6 this morning. However, we're seeing that slight buildup off those westbound lanes of I-10. All in all, crews should be wrapping up that project on the 31st, but we're going to watch it closely. Now, if you are driving into San Antonio, want to get to those inbound times because coming in from Seguin on those westbound lanes, it's going to take you about 30 minutes to get into town. So again, do expect that slowdown. Traffic in the meantime is being diverted to the frontage road. So you'll see a slight slowdown there. 22 minutes coming in from 87 and Livonia to downtown SA and 27 coming in from Floresville. So no delays just yet. We're not seeing those yellow or red colors that we don't like to see this early, but we are seeing these damp roads. So again, drive carefully. We're going to have more updates coming up a little bit later on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, a family's problems have become a case for the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. Investigators have one member of that family, an 18-year-old man in custody, accusing him of stabbing 2 of his relatives. It happened at their home in far west Bexar County, not far from Highway 90 and Creewald Road. Katrina Weber is live in that neighborhood with the story. And Katrina, have investigators said what led to the violence?
Not specifically, but it appears that the trouble originally was between 2 brothers. Now, when this was all over, 2 of the suspect's relatives, his father and brother, had been stabbed The suspect himself also was cut. Bexar County Sheriff's deputies found all of them in the 9,000 block of Misty Plain. Investigators told us that 18-year-old suspect stabbed his brother first around 10 last night. Then they say during a struggle over the knife, he also stabbed his father and himself. Someone eventually was able to take the knife away. Deputies told us the brother and father both were in critical condition as they left for a hospital. They say the suspect also went to a hospital, but his wounds were not life-threatening, and we don't know yet what charges he might face. Reporting live in far west Bexar County, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. 2 suspects in jail this morning who police say are responsible for shooting a man found dead in his truck on the west side after a crash earlier this year.
And after months of investigating, police say it was something left behind at the crime scene that led them to the arrest. Sarah Costa joins us in the studio this morning.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Stephanie. It was fingerprints on the screen of a digital device left behind at that shooting by one of the suspects that helped police arrest the 2 responsible. So this is the scene from January 3rd after the 28-year-old Patrick Zavala was found dead in his truck after crashing it on Ingram Road near Loop 410 on the city's far west side early in that morning. When police arrived, they found Zavala had been shot. In a police report, investigators were able to use surveillance video that showed 2 men holding up the driver at gunpoint, shooting him, then taking the victim's phone. In the video, police heard one of the suspects saying he left something behind in the victim's truck, but then they both ran away. Police didn't specify if the digital device left behind was a phone or tablet, but police found it and used the fingerprints and activity on it to track down both of those suspects. The police report says some of the evidence included conversations on social media where one of the suspects, who is a minor, says he shot the victim in the chest. Yesterday, police were able to arrest both of those suspects. One is 18-year-old Kevin Luna. Police did not provide us with his mugshot. The second is a minor. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. 5:36. If you're wondering when gas and grocery prices will come down, the answer is probably not anytime soon.
In fact, as CNN's Amy Kiley reports, you might have to pay even more for those commodities in the coming months.
New federal forecasts show food prices will likely keep climbing. The average cost of gas will stay high or may even rise. The USDA now predicts grocery prices will increase up to 4% throughout this year, and the average cost of dining out could set a new record. That's partly because Ukraine and Russia usually export a lot of the world's wheat and corn.
It will have global context impact beyond anything we've seen since World War II.
And China's new COVID-19 lockdowns are making it hard for supply chains to recover from the pandemic. Oil prices dipped a bit this week. That's after Russia said it would ease up its assault on parts of Ukraine. But
I think we should be clear-eyed about the reality of what's happening on the ground, and no one should be fooled by Russia's announcements.
It's called rockets and feathers, meaning when the price goes up of the price per barrel, that means your gas station price goes up like a rocket. When the price comes down per barrel, the gas station price comes down like a feather.
Prices from the last month demonstrate what she's saying. Here they are for oil and gas. And here's a forecast into next year. U.S. oil producers aren't increasing drilling much to help. CEOs say investor pressure is restraining growth, according to a Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas survey.
Because of gas, we are, as of right now, no, we are definitely not taking our family vacation this year. It'll be more or less a trip to the lake.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
There are new indications actor Will Smith may face consequences for slapping comedian Chris Rock at the Oscars Sunday night. Today, the Board of Governors for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is expected to hold an emergency meeting to discuss the issue. They released another statement overnight saying the Academy was, quote, upset and outraged by Smith's actions. They added that appropriate action will be taken.
Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones dropping his effort to keep a paternity lawsuit out of the news and instead going on the offensive. Jones is moving to have the suit dismissed. To that end, his legal team withdrew its request for a hearing to discuss sealing the lawsuit. It was brought by Alexandra Davis, who says Jones is her biological father. Now, Jones's legal team also says that their client was a victim of attempted extortion. They accused Davis of offering to, quote, make a deal with Jones before filing the suit. Davis's attorney told the Dallas Morning News that Davis never demanded money from Jones regarding the lawsuit.
Well, it's not in Miami, and Blanche, Dorothy, and Sophia are not there, but a house belonging to Betty White has hit the market. The 3,600 square foot beach house is in picturesque Carmel, California. Actress had it built with her husband, Alan Ludden, before he died in 1981. Though White lived primarily in Southern California until her death late last year, her realtor says she loves spending time in the Carmel house. The listing price just shy of $8 million.
And time now is 5:39 and 70 degrees for now.
So glad you're with us. Coming up next, many are facing severe weather and extreme fire threats that are impacting many areas of the country today.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we have a little bit of rain in the area, but that will not last long, and still fire danger ahead in this area as well. We'll be right back.
5:42 right now. Many are facing a multi-day weather threat, severe weather threat, impacting many of the same areas hard hit by last week's deadly tornado outbreak.
On top of that, more are under the threat of a significant wildfire outbreak from the Texas Panhandle into southwest Kansas. CNN's Cole Higgins has the latest.
Raging flames fueled by high winds scorched the earth in Texas. 3 wildfires have now exploded in size in Coryell County, merging together, creating the Crittenburg Complex fire. A blaze so massive its smoke clouds block out the sun. Emergency officials warn its plumes of orange smoke can impact areas over 50 miles away.
This is not going to be a 48-hour fire. This fire is going to last several days, if not weeks.
Texas A&M Forest Service reported more than 120 wildfires across the state Monday. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has now issued a disaster declaration for 16 counties impacted by wildfires.
Local resources called in the Texas A&M Forest Service on almost 20 other fires just yesterday. So our crews are certainly active across the state.
Now, as the state faces extreme fire danger and severe storms capable of spawning tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds, and flash flooding, Governor Abbott is sending a warning for people to remain vigilant, saying in a statement, it is important that Texans monitor local weather reports, heed guidance from local officials, and take proper measures to protect life and property. I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
5:44, about 70 degrees.
And coming up next, we check in with the Animal Defense League and a pet that needs a home.
Of course, it is Fiesta time, and one of the three of us is dressed up for Fiesta.
Yes!
He's got his wiper on. So who's this little boy?
This is Jack. Jack is a Jack Russell Terrier mix, and he hasn't been with us that long. He is an amazing boy. He's had a lot of love in his life, and sadly, we have him now because his owner passed away. Aww. So we really want him to have his golden years and with just as much love as he's experienced so far. He's a great boy. He's sweet. I mean, he's amazing.
And usually Jack Russell Terriers are really active dogs, but being a little bit older, maybe not little kids to run around. He may just want to be couch potato.
Right. Like, he doesn't love the stairs. He's sort of like, I don't need to go up these stairs. Okay. But he's still got a lot of pep in his step and a lot of love to give. I mean, he trotted right along this morning. He was ready to go.
And the nice thing is, you know the exact personality, everything about him. Yeah. The great thing about adopting older dogs. And you've got some really, really big news.
We've got some huge news, and we're super excited because the number one thing that the community can do for us is to adopt. So in partnership with PetSmart Charities, we are opening up a 3rd adoption facility at the Four Winds location. So on Friday, April 1st, we are going to have our grand opening. So we'll be there from 11 to 2. We'll be there all the time because it's our 3rd adoption facility.
And it's going to be daily.
Yes, daily. It's going to be noon to 7. Okay. Paul Jolly and Nacogdoches are 11 to 7, but the PetSmart location will be noon to 7. Okay. So we hope the community will come out and support us and join us. We're going to have a lot of precious dogs just like this one. A lot of dogs this size, actually. So please come on out, join us. We'll have the mayor of Windcrest there, and we're just excited to have more opportunities to get pets out into the community.
Well, fantastic. Now 3 locations, and if you didn't get all the times and places and everything like that, you can just give them a call, 655-1481, or go to adltexas.org. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
And there are some problems on I-10 and Woodstone this morning. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Unfortunately, not the only problem that we're looking at right now. Mark, Stephanie, let's get a closer look. I-10 and Woodstone does show some flashing lights. And as we bring the camera in here to show you the conditions, the roads do look a little damp out there, but we are seeing vehicles moving through there without any problems. In fact, we are seeing them take it slow out in that direction. And that's especially important when we have first responders on the scene. And again, this is a crash that we are watching very closely, but not the only one. We're going to first start here off of State Highway 151 eastbound, just before US 90. These eastbound lanes of State Highway 151 are starting to see a slight buildup in that direction. So at 5:49, entering the 6 a.m. hour, not looking good out there. But we're going to watch it. And again, that crash, don't forget, I-10 eastbound right there at Hebner Road is where it's actually been picked up at. Not spotting a slowdown just yet, but the morning's still young. We'll see how it develops as the morning does roll on. But watch out over here also. We do have a stall off 35 southbound at O'Connor Road. That's been there for a little while. Been checking a lot of these TransGuide cameras. Those roads there look a little damp in the area. So again, make sure to drive carefully out when you have to head the roads. But for now, let's go ahead and check with Mike Osterhage.
Not everybody now is going to be driving on some wet roads. We showed you the last half hour out there on the northwest side, and now over there by the airport, there is plenty of rain out there. The roads are wet. Traffic is moving along. And again, this is a very, very narrow band of rain, and it is working its way down to the southeast. We've got a couple of decent showers that are moving on in as well. As you can see, it's starting to pick up in intensity down here on the south side. It's already crossed, and some leftover showers on the backside of it, kind of already crossed 35 right there, and it's already moved through town. And then out there around, say, Leon Valley, SeaWorld, you're just left over with some of the light or some of the wet roads, but most all of the rain has come to an end. Up here around Garden Ridge, as you can see, it is starting to kind of strengthen up just a little bit as far as the intensity of the rain, and this is working its way off to the east and towards Santa Clara. I still haven't seen any lightning strikes with this, and again, it's moving along very quickly. It's going to be in and out of here, and we'll just be left over with some of the shower or some of the wet roads this morning. But with things drying out fairly quickly and the windy conditions, the road should be drying out fairly quickly as well. As far as wind gusts right now, out at the airport, it's gusting to 30 miles per hour. So the line is working its way on through here, the cool front line, and 35 mile per hour wind gusts right now at Port SA, 18 in Balverde Canyon Lakes, gusting to 35 miles per hour. And that's going to be status quo. That'll be what we'll be seeing all day long. So some leftover showers this morning. Temperatures will drop down a couple more degrees. We're here in town in the low 70s, but 50s out in the hill country, upper 50s. So we drop down somewhat as that front moves on through here, and leftover showers off to the east, but then plenty of sunshine all day long. Make it up in the mid 70s late this morning, 77 at noon, and then we will continue to warm up very nicely. 85 for a high temperature today. But again, the big problem, dry air, windy conditions, red flag warning all around the area. Relative humidities are really going to be dropping down, especially off to the west, because as we get this dry air moving on in here, temperatures go up. Since relative humidity is a percentage of that, that means with the bone dry air and the windy conditions, gusts close to 45 miles per hour today. So I was talking about now with this dry air in place and this front that has moved on through, we're going to be on the cool side the next couple of mornings, light jacket. And 48 here in town tomorrow, 49 Friday. And then notice how the low temperatures aren't anywhere near as cool over the weekend. We will start to see some more humidity build back in here. High temperatures are going to be about 10 or more degrees above normal. Normal high right now is 77, and we're going to be in the upper 80s over the weekend. And one thing to think about if you're heading off to Fiesta tomorrow night, even though we'll be starting off in the afternoon, with the high temperature of 85 degrees, it is going to cool down fairly quickly. So by later on in the evening, maybe a light little sweater or something like that. 77 degrees at noon today, sunny and windy, and that goes with tonight as well as far as if you're going to be out this evening. 85 degrees, sunny, windy conditions, and then getting down to 48 degrees tomorrow morning, 85 in the afternoon, 86 on Friday. Couple of fantastic days. Nice looking weekend. However, we will start to see a little more humidity work its way in here, and then a chance for some rain on Monday. As far as the Valero Texas Open tomorrow, bit of a breeze to deal with out there. So
they can handle it.
Yeah.
They're pros for a reason, right?
With the rest of us, we always call it like Blue Angels. You know, they take off, hit the wind, and go.
I always say you'll find me in a sand trap near you. 554, about 69 degrees.
Let's take a look at your winning Lotto numbers. We have pick 3, 101, Fireball 6, and your daily 4, 2634, Fireball 3.
Cash 5 numbers 9, 21, 24, 31, 33. And Mega Million 7, 22, 36, 45, 47. Mega Ball of 12, Megaplier 2. Good luck.
Coming up here on a Wednesday edition of Good Morning America, we have so much to get to, including that reaction to Russia saying that it's going to pull back forces from Ukraine's capital, claiming to drastically reduce military activities. Well, this morning, why the White House is skeptical. We are live in Ukraine with the latest. That and so much more coming up right here, including the severe weather threat on GMA.
About retail right now. Spurs have a big date with the Memphis Grizzlies tonight at the AT&T Center. We have a game day preview of the latest on a shooting incident involving a teenage girl at a Northwest Side hotel here in San Antonio. TransGuide right now, the morning commute could be a problem right now. As a matter of fact, looks like we've got a vehicle right in the middle of the traffic lanes at I-35 and Division. You also see the roads are wet. Mike is tracking that. We'll check in with him and Stephen Cavazos for the latest on what could be a very messy morning commute.
A teenage girl in the hospital this morning with a gunshot wound to the neck. We're going to tell you everything we know so far.
The war continues in Eastern Europe, but history was made in outer space overnight. We'll explain.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we're now at 66 degrees. We were in the 70s earlier, and we have some rain in the area.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. We've made it to midweek. It's Wednesday, March 30th.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're getting some much needed rain, but Mike is saying it's not going to stick around for long.
He joins us now in the studio with more on that. So where are we at with the rain, Mike?
Well, in fact, some places that have already seen rain is gone. Like I was saying, blinking and it's kind of moving on through. It's a very narrow line. It's moving along fairly quickly. As a matter of fact, this picture right now, a couple of drops are left on the lens, and obviously the roads are wet, but it appears like it has stopped raining over there by the airport. And there's this very narrow line. And again, it's racing down to the southeast at a really good clip. So moving through the southeastern portion of San Antonio and Bexar County right now. A couple of moderate showers, some of this yellow and orange. We have not seen any lightning strikes around here, however, and again, by the airport, the tail end of the rain has already moved on through out there to the northwest over toward the medical center where you had the rain first of all. Now just some leftover wet roads and still around China Grove, up around Kirby, Converse, and then Calaveras Lake, Elmendorf. You're going to be seeing this rain in just a matter of a couple of moments if it hasn't already started raining where you are. And it's also crossed I-35. So if you are heading up I-35 or even down 35, you're going to run into some of these showers. Poteet, get ready for, again, very brief shower. It's welcome. We'll take anything, but it's not really a heck of a lot. Rainfall rates haven't even been all that much, so perhaps a tenth of an inch of rain at best if you get that much out there. 61 degrees as of right now, so we have definitely cooled down in behind this front, and mid-60s down there right around portions of Medina County. The wind is starting to pick up. We've got some gusts already, 25, 30 miles per hour, and dry air is moving on in here, so wind and dry air should help to dry out the roads fairly quickly. But then, of course, that then leads to the red flag warning. So that goes into effect at 10 o'clock this morning up until 8 o'clock this evening. Relative humidities are going to be dropping down. We're going to see winds gusting, especially out to the west, 35, 40, 45 miles per hour. Oak is high, mold moderate, little bits of everything else. The updated count's going to come out in about an hour and a half or so. And throughout the rest of the morning, so temperatures have dropped down. We'll start to rebound a little bit and up into the mid 60s, then really warm up nicely. A lot of sunshine, windy conditions. The winds continue to pick up, upper 70s by noon, and then we'll make it into the 80s and top off at 85 degrees. Noontime temperature of 77. That's the normal high. So we'll be 8 degrees above that with plenty of sunshine. It's going to cool off quickly in the evenings, a couple of chilly mornings. Talk about that at the beginning of Fiesta and first week of April is coming up. Traffic authorities. Stephen Cavazos. do we dare say wet roads are the cause of some of these accidents?
You know, I think it would be safe to assume so, Mike. You know, when we saw that line of showers come in, that's when some of these problems started popping up. Let's go ahead and show you this view at TransGuide. We showed you this image going to commercial break. The only difference now is that it does look like we have a wrecker on the scene, and it also looks like we have first responders that are working to assist this driver. And you can see right here from this image, we do have some folks out on the roadways. So especially if you're driving in those southbound lanes of 35, you have to drive carefully because we do have people out there working to improve the conditions. So again, not the only problem, but we're seeing some of the slowdowns already starting to pick up here in those southbound lanes of 35 right there at Division Avenue where that crash was picked up. Still have this problem that looks like the slowdown is slightly improving there in those eastbound lanes of 151 right there just before 90 where that second crash is also being reported. This crash we showed you a little bit earlier off I-10 eastbound right there at Hebner Road. This hasn't been causing problems for drivers, but as you can see from that map, we did have plenty of crashes that came in just the last few minutes or so. The wide look at the map does show the silver lining here, or the green lining, I should say, is that there's not a lot of folks out on the roadway right now, but that doesn't mean you need to rush out, especially if you're traveling into San Antonio, because these inbound times, these travel times, aren't showing any slowdowns just yet. So don't rush out there. Pleasant drive from Pleasanton still with 29 minutes to downtown SA, 19 minutes coming in from 90 eastbound in Castroville, and 17 from Lytle on 35. So no need to rush out the door, but again, remember to take it slow, especially when you see those flashing lights out there. We're going to watch these roads closely, but as always, make sure you do the same. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. A teenage girl in the hospital this morning after an overnight shooting incident at a Northwest Side hotel. It started around 2 this morning at the Clarion Point Hotel on Manitou Drive, not far from Callahan Road. Now, police say 2 males and 2 females in their teens and early 20s were in a room on the 4th floor when a gun fired all of a sudden, grazing the 14-year-old in the neck. She was taken to the hospital. Her condition is not known at this time. Officers are still trying to figure out who the gun belonged to and if it was legally owned.
Also new this morning, Bexar County deputies investigating a stabbing involving 3 people. It happened around 10 o'clock last night in the 9,000 block of Misty Plain Drive on the city's far west side. Deputies arrived to find that an 18-year-old man had stabbed his younger brother and father. The 2 victims were taken to a hospital in critical condition. BCSO says the 18-year-old had turned the knife on himself, but his injuries are not life-threatening. The suspect was detained and taken to the hospital.
And now to California, where it has been confirmed that a bodyboarder died from an attack by a great white shark. The 42-year-old was bitten in the head, chest, and shoulder. It happened near Los Angeles back on Christmas Eve, and the coroner says he passed away from complications of multiple penetrating blunt force traumatic injuries. A piece of what appeared to be a shark's tooth was also found on his body.
6:06 right now. History was made in outer space overnight.
Despite what's unfolding here on Earth between the U.S. and Russia, astronauts from both countries came together as colleagues.
ABC's Andrea Fujii has that story.
Undocking confirmed.
This morning, a long-awaited homecoming for NASA astronaut Mark Vandehei, returning from a record 355 days in space.
It's sometimes challenging being up here, but I have just been having a blast.
He, along with 2 Russian cosmonauts, left the International Space Station, boarding Russia's Soyuz spaceship to land in Kazakhstan this morning. They returned to a very different landscape than when Vandehei left Earth nearly 1 year ago. Tensions between the U.S. and Russia have escalated to new heights as the war in Ukraine rages. But Tuesday, during the traditional change of command ceremony, the Russian commander on the space station took a moment to reflect on those tensions.
People have problem on Earth, on orbit. We are we are one crew.
And then this shared hug between the Russian and the American, as the commander handed over the symbolic space station key to the new commander, Thomas Marshburn. Weeks ago, when the U.S. began sanctioning Russia, tensions did reach space. The head of the Russian space agency threatened to abandon Vandehei, posting a video showing the cosmonauts waving goodbye to him. Retired astronaut Scott Kelly fired back, engaging in a social media war of words.
I never thought I would ever hear anything so outrageous.
But reflecting on her time in orbit, former astronaut Katie Coleman says up in space, where you're from doesn't matter.
The fact that you're from one little place on that planet is a really nice, it's a great sense of community.
After landing this morning, Vandehei travels back to NASA headquarters in Houston. As for future Russian-American space flights, a top Russian official is expected to discuss the issue tomorrow. Andrea Fujii, ABC News.
And we're just a day away from the start of Fiesta here in the Alamo City.
Sarah Costa joins us now with a look at what of some week we can expect this year. Good morning, Sarah.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Good morning, Steph. There'll be lines to grab that chicken on a stick, oysters, bongo kebabs, and plenty of drinks. And some of your Fiesta favorites are going to cost you a little more. So get this. Pot stickers, crispy shrimp wraps, corn on the cob, corn in a cup, sopapillas, lemonade, and tea are all going up by $1. The price of chicken on a stick, it's staying the same at $8. Organizers at the King William Fair are facing rising costs as well. They say contractors have doubled their prices and trash cleanup has tripled. And to offset inflation costs, entry fees for the King William Fair will increase from $15 to $20 this year. Your entry fee at Oyster Bake will stay the same, but expect all the food and drinks to go up by $1. Organizers say the fixed costs have gone up over 20% this year. So if you're trying to be on a budget, you can head to KSAT.com to find a list of the free Fiesta events you can enjoy. Also consider using rideshare services to avoid parking fees near the event. Keep it right here on KSAT 12 for all your Fiesta coverage. Mark and Steph.
Thank you, Sarah.
And let's look at your Fiesta medal giveaway. We're going to tell you coming up on GMSA where and when you can get your KSAT 2022 Fiesta medal.
It's coming up in this hour. Yesterday it was up on the far north side. Stay tuned. Right now, 6:10, 65 degrees.
And coming up a little later on GMSA, an update to the controversy at the Oscars. Why Will Smith could face consequences after all.
And Amazon set to roll out a new device for your kids. We have those details.
And taking a look outside with live cam, you can see like a raindrop there on our camera. Rain here and there in the area. Be careful out there. We'll be right back.
Just about 6:14 in today's Tech Bites, the Federal Trade Commission is suing Intuit, the company behind TurboTax, at issue. The company's claim to offer free tax preparation products. The FTC claims the claim is misleading because most people are not able to use free products being offered. Intuit says its products have helped taxpayers and have always complied with requirements.
Amazon's new video call device for kids now available in the U.S. The Amazon Glow has an 8-inch display and a projector that creates a 19-inch interactive space. The price tag there, $300.
And for those of you clamoring for a hamburger vending machine, your day has arrived. Robo Burger up and running at a New Jersey mall. Cooks a patty, adds the toppings, even toasts the bun, all in just about 6 minutes.
Interesting. Well, time now, 6:14, and some problems out there on the roadways. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Yeah, pack that patience this morning with that cup of coffee, because while the roads look quiet here at 410 and Morrison, other areas are showing some problems for drivers. Now, we're getting a look around town because I really want to show you the conditions. Things look fine, but we have spotted some damp roads out in the area. Now, while it's unclear what led to these series of problems when that line of showers came in, that's when a few crashes started popping up on our map. You can see there right at 1604 Kitty Hawks, a few droplets still remain on that TransGuide camera. Let's go ahead and start here on the map, though, because one of the crashes we've been watching closely is right here off 35 southbound at Division Avenue, where we have a slight buildup of traffic in those southbound lanes. So do be prepared to slow down in that direction. Let's take that drive up over here to 281 southbound at Hildebrand Avenue, where that second crash came in just recently. There in those southbound lanes is where we're spotting another buildup. So I can imagine that's going to be difficult for any drivers that are trying to make their way into the downtown San Antonio area. Let's take another drive over here to the I-10 eastbound at Huebner Road. That crash still remains a problem. However, we're not seeing it impact traffic just yet. You can see the lanes, those eastbound lanes are still green. So some good news there, but the roads aren't too bad right now. There's not a lot of folks out there, but definitely a lot of problems. Let's check in with Mike Osterhage.
You notice in a lot of those cameras, especially on the west and northwest side of town, yes, the roads are still damp, but it has stopped raining. This did not. I mean, look at how narrow that band of rain is working its way on through the area. And again, most of it is is moved on through. It has ended out there at the airport, and it did not amount to really a whole heck of a lot. Obviously, we'll take anything we can get, but officially out there at the airport, 7/100 of an inch of rain, and that's pretty much what we can expect. Obviously, there are a couple of some decent downpours out here, just moving through I-35 and heading down toward Livernia, so you're about to see some of this rain. But again, out there by the airport, over on the medical center, around Leon Valley, it has all pretty much come to an end. Now it's just a matter of just waiting for the roads to dry out. And then further on down to the south, Poteet, you've got some of these showers right now. Pleasanton, you're going to be getting the rain in just a couple of minutes. Again, this very narrow band, a couple of decent downpours, some of those darker oranges and red shades in there. But the one thing, we have not seen anything as far as any lightning strikes with this. And in behind it, we've got a lot of clear skies out here. That is kind of a good news, bad news situation. Beautiful weather, but on the downside, we've got some windy and dry conditions and red flag warning. So over there by the medical center, again, it has stopped raining. Roads are still damp, and we've got these winds out here. Winds are gusting right now. Lost Maples 23 miles per hour. They had been gusting up to about 20, 25 around Castroville earlier, and they will start to pick up, though, once again as the morning rolls on. Temperatures, we've dropped down to 61 degrees right now. We'll start to bounce back up. Some of those leftover showers off to the east. That's why the small percentage right there, just taking into account that rain working its way off to the east. We'll make it into the upper 60s by mid-morning, 77 degrees at noon. That's already the normal high temperature, the average high this time of year. So we will continue to be anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above normal, topping off at 85. And they are going to have those windy conditions with winds gusting 30, 35, close to 45 miles per hour, especially out to the west, and extremely dry air. Relative humidities are going to be dropping down as those temperatures go up. So the fire danger does continue. So here's the low that's sliding on through the area. Not down here close enough. It is going to produce some severe weather up to the north of us, but not close enough to really do much of anything except this little bit of light rain. Nice airflow in behind it, and that keeps the dry air around here for the next couple of days. Very pleasant today, tomorrow, well, this afternoon, tomorrow, and Friday. And then the weekend, we get into more of a zonal pattern, which is going to, for us, mean temperatures slightly above normal, and then the humidity is also going to start to return by this weekend. 77 degrees today at noon, and again, we're going to top off about anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above normal later on today. 85, sunny, windy conditions. It's going to cool off kind of quickly tonight. We'll get down to 48 tomorrow morning with this dry air around here. Heats up easily, cools off quickly, and then 85 tomorrow. Still going to be breezy, probably red flag warnings for parts of the area tomorrow. Weather Service has indicated they're likely going to issue those. And then nice night for the start of Fiesta tomorrow night. Fiesta. It's going to be broadcast starting at 8 o'clock. Fiona and I are going to be there on stage once again with thousands of our closest friends out there. That's just so cool. And everybody is just so excited about it. And you know there's going to be a million people down there. So
I'm glad you get to be out there. We'll be watching.
I think people who even have a phobia to crowds are ready to at least get out and sample a little bit. Wow, we have a lot of flashing lights out there. We're going to talk to Stephen coming up. Big mess, 35 at New Braunfels. Yeah, okay. Right now, 619, 64 degrees.
And don't look now, but our young San Antonio Spurs are on a roll and one step closer to making the playoffs. However, they have a tough matchup tonight against one of the best teams in the NBA. We're going to have a preview right after the break.
Faces of Fiesta is powered by Silverado and your local San Antonio area Chevy dealers.
Hi, my name is Callista Burns, and I'm Miss Fiesta San Antonio. Viva Fiesta!
This year's Miss Fiesta is a native to San Antonio who grew up on the southeast side of the city.
I went to Incarnate Word High School all 4 years, and I am now attending the University of the Incarnate Word. I'm an education major with a double minor in math and reading.
One thing that's important to her is mentoring young girls to enter the STEM programs.
My community service project as Miss Fiesta is called GEMS, which stands for Girls in Engineering, Math, and Science. And we are a summer program that promotes and empowers girls to be involved in the fields of STEM.
She's proud and excited to represent the Fiesta Commission because Fiesta, well, it isn't just a party, it's a party with a purpose.
I love that Fiesta is a party with a purpose because, yes, we do go out and celebrate and have fun, But behind all that is a great big purpose of getting our community involved and working together.
And her favorite fiesta event,
the Battle of Flowers Parade, because it just gathers the entire community. It's so festive and so bright.
There's a different way to treat HIV. It's every other month injectable Cabenuva. For adults who are undetectable, Cabenuva is the only complete HIV treatment you can get every other month.
Cabenuva helps keep me undetectable. It's 2 injections given by my healthcare provider every other month.
It's one less thing to think about while traveling.
HIV pills aren't on my mind. A quick change in my plans is no big deal.
Don't receive Cabenuva if you're allergic to its ingredients or taking certain medicines which may interact with Cabenuva. Serious side effects include allergic reactions, post-injection reactions, liver problems, and depression. If you have a rash and other allergic reaction symptoms, stop Cabenuva and get medical help right away. Tell your doctor if you have liver problems or mental health concerns, and if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or considering pregnancy. Some of the most common side effects include injection site reactions, fever, and tiredness. If you switch to Cabenuva, attend all treatment appointments.
Every other month, and I'm good to go.
Ask your doctor about every other month Cabenuva.
624. Don't look now, Spurs fans. For the first time since March of 2007, the Spurs have gone undefeated on a road trip of 4 games or more. It's after the team was able to beat the Warriors, Trailblazers, Pelicans, and Rockets. More importantly, the Silver and Black now own that 10th and final play-in position in the Western Conference playoff race. Spurs got a huge assist last night from our friends up in Dallas, the Mavericks, who beat the Lakers, dropping LA into the 11th spot in the West. They're now tied with the Spurs for the overall record, and the Spurs own the tiebreaker for the play-in bracket. So now the Spurs will try to keep the momentum going tonight against the high-powered Memphis Grizzlies, who are currently sitting at second place in the Western Conference. It'll be a tough matchup, also a huge confidence booster for the Silver and Black if they can get a win. Tip-off set for 7:30 tonight over at the AT&T Center.
All right, come on, go Spurs, go. Time now 6:25 and 62 degrees for now.
Much more to come on GMSA at 6:30, including the latest on a far west side stabbing involving 3 people. We have details ahead.
And stay with us because we're getting excited about Fiesta, and we're going to tell you where you can get your 2022 KSAT Fiesta medal.
Stay tuned for that right here on GMSA. And the roads are, well, a mess this morning. Stephen Cavazos just sent out a push alert on the KSAT app. He's tracking several accidents, including this one, 35 southbound near New Braunfels.
Three members of a Far West Bexar County family are all in the hospital, and sheriff's deputies say one of them put them all there. I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you more about it.
A man is dead this morning after he was hit by a vehicle on the far west side. We have details ahead.
And the fallout continues this morning after the controversy at the Oscars. Why Will Smith could be facing consequences after all.
It's good news, bad news kind of morning. Good news, we've had some rain in the area. The bad news, it is affecting your morning commute. Stephen is tracking at least 1, if not more, accidents. We'll talk to him in just a moment. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 30th.
Thanks for joining us today. And yeah, a lot of problems out there on the roadways. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But for now, let's talk about a little bit of the rain that we had this morning.
And some folks saw it was a quick shower, but a downpour.
Yeah, and it didn't amount to too awfully much because you said had, that being the operative word, because it's moving on out of here. Out at the airport, 0.07 of an inch of rain. So we were talking about how it would be about, a 1/10 of an inch or so right around there. And in some places, all that did was just make the roads nice and slippery. Wasn't enough and didn't last long enough to wash off all the dirt and oil and everything. And out there, you can see the road's still damp over there. This is 10 looking out to the northwest over by the medical center. Traffic's moving along fairly well there. And the line of rain, again, the operative word being that had moved on through because it is just racing down to the southeast. So it has come to an end in and around most of town. Still maybe a couple leftover showers down there on the extreme southeast side near Elmendorf and just crossing over into 1604. Lavernia, you're getting some of this rain right now. And it's moved through Seguin, obviously moved through New Braunfels and continuing to race off to the east. Some around Pleasanton, and that's it's just going to continue its way again down to the southeast at about 25-30 miles per hour. That whole line working its way down there. 62 degrees right now in town. We were hovering in the upper 60s for a while, and then that front moved on through. So we've got some 50s now in portions of the hill country, and also the air has started to dry out. These numbers, dew points, were up around mid 60s earlier this morning. You can kind of feel the humidity. That's some of the air that we were in. We're Pleasanton still at 66, but now that drier air is coming on in here, and we've had some wind gusts this morning. It's really going to be gusting later on today, at times close to 40, 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Very dry air. So once again, red flag warning for all of the area. Starts at 10 o'clock this morning up until 8 o'clock this evening. Oak is high, although it did come down from the previous day's reading. Mold moderate, low amounts of everything else. The updated allergen count is going to be coming out in about a half hour, 45 minutes or so. So showers will continue to work their way off to the east and come to an end. And then we're going to have plenty of sunshine starting this morning and throughout the rest of today. Warm, dry, and windy, and that's, yeah, it makes for a comfortable day, but that adds to that high fire danger out there. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be on the chilly side starting off. Same thing Friday morning, and then sunny and breezy. And the weekend, nice looking for the start of April. Humidity does start to make a return as we go on into the weekend, and we're still going to have warm temperatures anywhere from about 7 to 10 degrees above normal up into the 80s. More on the weekend coming up in a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavasso's got your hands full. A lot going on out there, right?
Yeah, a lot going on, Mike. It does look like some of those roads are drying out. I was just checking some of the TransGuide cameras, but here 35 at New Braunfels is one of the problem spots this morning. You can see slow-moving traffic, flashing lights, few lanes blocked off there. Obviously, this is going to cause major delays for drivers, but we'll get to that crash in just a moment. We have a new one that popped up right here off Loop 410 eastbound over on the southeast side. You can see that huge stretch of red that continues to build in those eastbound lanes of 410. So you got to watch out there, that is, right at South End Road. Not looking good as we head into that morning rush hour. Let's take that drive up here. Want to make a quick correction. I was just checking with our friends over at TxDOT. Does look like that crash is reported in the northbound lanes of 35 at New Braunfels Avenue. Reported earlier that it was in the southbound lanes. It's actually going to be in those northbound lanes where you're going to see that slowdown. As you can see, it's reflected right there on our map. Let's take that drive, another drive over here, not too far off 281 southbound at Hildebrand Avenue. If you are driving into San Antonio or downtown San Antonio, you can expect some slowdowns in that direction as well. We do have first responders working to get these crashings cleared, so we got to give them plenty of room to get this, to improve the roadways, that is. Elsewhere, we're not seeing slowdowns just yet. Thankfully, the majority of San Antonio in our viewing area is showing that the roads are in good shape. And if you are traveling in, again, quick reminder, no need to rush out the door. You're not going to experience any delays, but drivers coming in from Bulverde in those southbound lanes of 281, 32 minutes. So just remember, take it slow out on the roads. That's the best way to go any morning. But a morning like this, we want to make sure that we give those first responders a break and plenty of room. We're going to have more on these crashes coming up a little bit later on. Mark, Stephanie.
Stephen, thank you for the update. 3 members of a family are in the hospital, although one may soon be headed to jail. Bexar County Sheriff's investigators say that 18-year-old man stabbed 2 of his relatives, then himself.
It happened during a disturbance at their far west Bexar County home. Katrina Weber is live in that neighborhood, not far from Highway 90 and Kriegwald Road. And Katrina, are there any updates on their status?
Well, what we've been told by sheriff's investigators is that the 2 relatives, a father and son, were in critical condition. Now, the suspect is another son in this family. He also was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening wounds. Now, all 3 of them were found at a home back in this neighborhood. That was on a street called Misty Plain. The sheriff's office got the call around 10 last night. They say that 18-year-old suspect stabbed his brother first. Then they say during a struggle over the knife, he also stabbed his father and himself. Again, both relatives were in critical condition as they were rushed to a hospital. The suspect taken into custody, but also taken to a hospital for treatment of his non-life-threatening wounds. We don't know yet what led to this violence. We also don't know what charges, if any, this suspect will face. Reporting live in far west Bexar County, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. And new this morning, 2 suspects now behind bars. Police say they are responsible for shooting a man that was found dead in his truck after crashing on the far west side earlier this year.
Yeah, police say it was something left behind at the crime scene that led them to the arrest. Sarah Costa live in our newsroom with more on that. Sarah.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. It was fingerprints on the screen of a device left behind at the shooting by one of the suspects that helped police arrest the 2 responsible. So this is the scene from January 3rd after 28-year-old Patrick Zavala was found dead in his truck after crashing it on Ingram Road near Loop 410 on the city's far west side early in the morning. When police arrived, they found Zavala had been shot In a police report, investigators were able to use surveillance video that showed two men holding up the driver at gunpoint, shooting him, then taking the victim's phone. In the video, police heard one of the suspects saying he left something behind in the victim's truck, but then they both ran away. Police didn't specify if the digital device left behind was a phone or tablet, but found it and used the fingerprints and activity on it to track down both of the suspects. The police report says some of the evidence included conversations on social media where one of the suspects, who is a minor, says he shot the victim in the chest. Now, yesterday, police were able to arrest both of those suspects. One is 18-year-old Kevin Luna. Police did not provide us with his mugshot. The second is a minor. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Also new this morning, a man is dead after he was hit by a vehicle on the far west side. It happened just before 11 last night off of Culebra Road near Gom Road and Ranch View. Police say the man in his 40s was walking on a dimly lit road in dark clothing when he was hit by a woman driving a sedan. The man died at the scene. The woman did stop to help, and she is not facing charges. Some other top stories we're following today. People living in the High Mountain Ranch subdivision are finally home after evacuating from the Dos Goat fire. However, the area looks a little different now. What was once greenery is now gray ash. The fire burned so intensely, only rock remains in some areas. Many houses and trailers are covered in pink from retardant drops from the sky, an effort to help ground crews save homes. While residents are returning home, fire crews are asking everyone to stay vigilant because of persistent drought and fire conditions across the region.
Meanwhile, firefighters in the Indian capital of Delhi are frantically trying to contain this blaze at a landfill east of the city. The fire's been cloaking the region in a toxic haze. Crews say some living nearby have had trouble breathing. The fire's been burning for at least 2 days now, and a cause has not yet been determined. We have an update now on the coronavirus. Health officials have approved another booster shot. This one would be the fourth one and would only be for people 50 and older. The FDA and CDC signed off on it, but they did not formally recommend it. Instead, they want people who are eligible to make their own decision regarding the booster. Next week, the FDA will consider a fourth shot for all Americans. The average number of COVID cases in the U.S. is at its lowest since last August.
And we are seeing fewer COVID cases here in Barrow County as well. 98 COVID patients are in our hospitals this morning. And right now, Metro Health describes our risk level as low.
Terrifying moments for a base jumper after his parachute ripped in midair during a stunt, leaving him clinging to the edge of a cliff for an hour. That story is coming up at 7 o'clock right after GMSA on Good Morning America.
And there are new indications this morning that Will Smith may face consequences for slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars.
Today, the Board of Governors for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is expected to hold an emergency meeting where they will likely decide whether to punish Smith.
Yesterday on The View, Whoopi Goldberg, who was on the board, said she does not believe Smith should lose his Oscar, but suggested there should be consequences. The Academy says any action it takes will likely take a few weeks.
Now, Chris Rock has yet to comment publicly, but he's set to perform two shows tonight, in Boston. Look for that story next on GMA. Right now, it is 6:39, about 63 degrees.
And still to come on GMSA, we're going to tell you about some of the best parks and trails to explore right here in San Antonio.
And after this break, we'll tell you where or when you can get your hands on a KSAT Fiesta medal today. We have all noticed the weather has finally started to warm up, which means it's a great time to start getting outside.
And the good news is we have a lot of beautiful parks and trails right here in San Antonio. Friedrich Wilderness Park is a popular spot over on the northwest side of town, located near I-10 and 1604, and it's actually on the southern edge of the Texas Hill Country. And it has roughly 10 miles of hiking trails and is home to some rare birds.
Do I have to give away this next one? It's really pretty out there. Next on the list, Medina River Natural Area, far south side, just north of 1604. Beautiful 511-acre property, been enhanced with 7 miles of trails with interpretive features representing the El Camino Real wagon trail.
Another popular spot, San Antonio's Mcallister Park on the north side, located off of Jones-Maltsberger. It's one of the city's larger parks and at 976 acres, and it's filled with bike trails, hiking spots, pavilion areas, and all kinds of wildlife.
These are just a handful of the many parks and trails that are going to be explored here in our city, in our region. We've got more posted for you over on KSAT.com.
And Fiesta is almost here. We want to help you get into the spirit of the season by sharing our KSAT Fiesta medal.
Almost makes you want to dance. We're giving away some medals, and here's where you can get yours today. All right, folks, here it is. Starting at 8 o'clock sharp, you can get a KSAT Fiesta medal at the HEB at 3323 Southeast Military Drive. That's right near I-37.
And remember, it's still early, but it's first come, first serve. Again, that begins at 8, and medals will be given away while supplies last.
Good luck. 6:45 right now.
And the traffic to a Fiesta medal giveaway might be a little interesting in some areas, Stephen.
That's right, Steph. Right now we're taking a look at 35 at New Braunfels. If you're just waking up with us, we are looking at a crash scene that hopefully will be cleared in a few moments or minutes, or we'll see how it turns out, really, because first responders, they are out there, and that's some good news because that means they're in the process of clearing this, but it's not clear how long it's going to take. We are starting to see some of the slowdowns in the area. Keep in mind, although this crash does look bad, it does look like we are getting some relief elsewhere. We did have this crash off 410 eastbound at Southton Road. TxDOT has removed that from their page, and we're not seeing that big slowdown in the eastbound lanes anymore. So that could have already been cleared out. So again, good news, but not looking good here off 35 northbound at New Braunfels Avenue, where we do have that crash you just saw on those TransGuide cameras. So do expect a slowdown in that direction. I'll look for some alternative routes if you plan to travel up 35 northbound. And 281 southbound had been a problem here at Hildebrand Avenue, but that crash has cleared. Still seeing a slight slowdown in the area. Nothing too drastic, but elsewhere, more green on the screen, and that's what we like to see as we start to see more people out on the roadways. One last look at TransGuide 35 at New Braunfels. It's been a busy morning, but let's go ahead and check in with Mike Osterhage for the forecast.
And you see in that picture how the road is still damp out there, but this is as advertised. This was not a big rain event. Picked up 0.07 of an inch out there at the airport, and from the time it first started with a little bit of light rain at the airport until it ended was only 45 minutes. So obviously it did not last long at all. And this band of rain is going to continue to work its way down to the south and to the southeast at a fairly good clip. And it's already kind of cleared through Seguin, maybe a couple leftover showers in behind that. And then down here around Floresville, Poth, you're going to be seeing some of these showers coming down in your back door, coming in your backyard, I should say, in just a couple of minutes. And the rain has already moved through Pleasanton. So again, this line continues to come back or to move down to the southeast, and in behind it, like, we've got lots of clear skies, and that's kind of a good news, bad news type situation. So out there by the medical center, it almost looks like, well, the roads are still damp, somewhat of a reflection there, but with the dry air that's moving on in here and the winds are going to be picking up, that should help to dry the roads out by approaching the heaviest part of the morning commute. Lost Maples, wind gusts of 23 miles per hour, and that's what we can expect throughout the rest of today. And a few leftover showers down to the southeast this morning, and then lots of sunshine. Should be a good looking sunrise as the clouds continue to work their way on out of here. We get those clear skies moving on in here, and then plenty of blazing sunshine all day long. 77 at noon. That's the normal high temperature this time of year, the average high. So we're going to be, well, anywhere from about, on average, 8, 10, 15 degrees above normal across the board. We'll be in the mid 80s here, 85 specifically, and then some upper 80s and maybe even a couple of low 90s over toward the west. And then with that very dry air, sunshine, it's going to be a beautiful day. I mean, it's a great picture out there with some of the bluebonnets. But then on the flip side of that, we do have the red flag warning with the windy and dry conditions and very high fire danger. Also tomorrow, Weather Service has indicated that it may issue red flag warning for parts of the area because it's still going to be on the breezy side tomorrow, and we are going to have some very dry air in place. One thing with this dry air now, it heats up very quickly, very easily, so 77 at noon, and then we top off at 85 today, but then it cools down quickly in the evening hours. So if you are going out this evening, you might want to take a light jacket, and same thing tomorrow. We start off 48 degrees, so jacket in the morning, and then for Fiesta, which is going to be absolutely perfect weather for it, perhaps a light little jacket if you're going to be out throughout the entire evening with the temperatures that will drop off fairly quickly. Cool again Friday morning. Then the humidity moves back in here. Still hot temperatures. I mean, again, we're going to be more than 10 degrees above normal over the weekend. Lows stay in the 60s with that extra humidity. And a few showers, a couple of thunderstorms, just a small chance as it looks right now for Monday. Temperatures still in the 80s.
Again, who would have thought we'd need perhaps to wear some fleece on an evening during Fiesta?
I don't know about fleece necessarily, but
a fleece vest. How about that?
Or a hoodie.
Or a hoodie.
A little light,
light hoodie,
Yeah.
Not anything big, but
we'll pack it in our Fiesta bag.
It'll be coolish.
Okay.
We'll put it that way.
About 10 till 62 degrees.
And tomorrow on GMSA, we are talking about some of the most popular glamping destinations here in Texas.
Back outside with Live Cam. We'll wrap up GMSA coming up after the break. Oh, there's the glamping destinations, glamorous camping. And there's Live Cam. Yeah, we're still waiting for the sun to come up. A lot of traffic on 410, which is still a little slick from the earlier rain showers. We'll be right back.
Good morning, I'm Jonathan Cotto. San Antonio police investigating a shooting happening in a room inside this hotel. We're learning one person has been taken to the hospital. San Antonio police were called out to this Clarion Point Hotel on the 4800 block of Manitou Drive. That's near 410 and Callahan just before 2 o'clock this morning. Police tell us 2 males and 2 females in their teens and 20s were staying in a room on the 4th floor when a gun accidentally went off, grazing a 14-year-old girl on the neck. Right now, police are trying to figure out who the gun belonged to and if there will be any charges. It's still unclear if the 14-year-old girl's injuries were life-threatening. We do know she was taken to University Hospital. The other people in that room were taken in for questioning. Reporting from the city's northwest side, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
A family's problems in far west Bexar County have led to a sheriff's investigation. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. According to the sheriff's office, an 18-year-old man stabbed his father, brother, and himself. All 3 were found at a home late last night in the 9000 block of Misty Plain. This neighborhood is not far from Highway 90 and Crewald Road. According to deputies, that 18-year-old man stabbed his brother first. Then during a struggle over the knife, he stabbed his father and himself. All 3 of them ended up in the hospital. Deputies told us that the father and brother were both in critical condition. That suspect suffered non-life-threatening wounds. And we don't know at this point what led to the violence or what charges he may face. Reporting from far west Bexar County, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And in case you missed it earlier, here's the location of today's Fiesta Medal giveaway. Starting at 8 a.m., you can get a KSAT Fiesta Medal at the ATV at 3323 Southeast Military Drive. That's near I-37. Remember, it's first come, first serve, and medals will be given away while supplies last.
It's about 5 till 7. Let's see how many accidents Stephen is tracking right now.
0. All those crashes cleared out just in time for morning rush. We saw 35 in New Braunfels within the last 15 minutes that we last talked to you guys. That crash was blocking a few lanes of traffic, but things look a lot better. And again, just in time for morning rush. However, still keep in mind there is that slowdown in the northbound lanes of 35. Seeing a slight buildup in the northbound lanes, southbound lanes as well. Wider look at the map does show just congestion right now, Mike. So just in time for morning rush.
Good news, and just in time for the morning rush. The rain obviously has come to an end. Still have some damp roads out there. This is 10 over by the medical center, but with the traffic that's helping to dry things out. And the line of rain continues to work its way down to the southeast at a very good clip. You may get 1/10 of an inch of rain at best. I think maybe perhaps a little more at times. A red flag warning is going to affect later on this morning up until 8 o'clock, and we're going to be up to 85 later on today with lots of sunshine out there. It's going to be windy. Great start to Fiesta tomorrow.
Stephen, Mike, thank you guys.
And thank you for joining us today. Excited about Fiesta tomorrow. And stay with us. We'll be back here at 9.
Good Morning America is coming up next.